Okay, well, the drogues that we've got for the boats here have been selected to fit the size of this boat. It's basically a brake which is dragged behind the boat and slows the vessel down in waves to stop it sliding down, surfing down the wave too much, and then broaching, which is turned to the side, which usually results in capsize. So they've been tied into the back of the boat. They're going to be permanently positioned here, sat here behind the coxswain seat. They're quite snug, so they will take a bit of removing. So it's packed away in a dry bag like that. It's been pre-stowed so that the rope should theoretically pay out very smoothly and not cause too many kind of kinks and hazards and loops. You need to be careful, as with any deployment of any rope on a boat, that you don't get it caught up around anything. The boat is 150-200 kilos plus a bunch of people on it. It's about 500 kilos worth of load in movement. When this takes up some tension, if you pin your limb between this and the side of the boat, you could certainly dislocate a finger, if not chop one off probably. So the idea is to avoid that. It sits in the boat, in the bag like that, and it's designed so the first thing that you pull out is the drogue itself. It's folded up, so it'll need to be unfolded. It's a cone, as you can see. The water goes in the big end and comes out the little end. So it will sit behind the boat like that, fill up with water. And the idea is that it will be chucked over the side and then it will pay out. So again, that's why you need a really significant distance behind the brake before you pay it out, because inside the bag is about 3 times the length of the boat in rope. And it's been loaded in coil over coil over coil, the same way that a whitewater rescue line would be in kayaking or RNLI rescue technique, anything like that, so that it should theoretically just pay out like that without any coils happening. And that's why we're saying that should you use one, give someone a shout so that it can get packed back in properly and you don't end up with a guddle of rope and it not working should you actually need to deploy it. So basically, if the boat was at 90 degrees moving that way, then you can be the water going away in that direction, and your cox would just be sitting there just making sure it pays out nice and smoothly coming out of here, which is where the business end really is, because that's just sitting in the water not doing anything. So it should pay out of there. This one's not actually tied in yet, and then as you see it comes around and it's just tied onto here, permanently attached to the back of the boat there. The idea of that is that it's exactly in the central alignment of the boat, so that my dad wouldn't be standing off at that angle, he'd actually be standing directly behind the boat, and the load would actually come in this direction. In a swell, the boat would pivot round on it. Because we're coming in and the waves break directly onto the beach, the idea is that this will go directly offshore and it'll help keep the boat directly onshore, pointing straight onto the beach, which will help avoid broaching. Broaching is when the boat slides down the wave and then slews to the side and then tips over, which I believe has happened here. It's quite common with surf. You shouldn't need to worry about sorting out the rope afterwards, because the boat will be on the beach, everyone can get on and then you can sort it out from the safety of the beach. But what I was referring to before was that there's going to be all the load of the boat and the power of the waves on this rope, so you really don't want to catch your hand underneath there or anything like that. There are very few hazards that we're aware of underwater off the beach here, so there shouldn't be anything for it to snag on apart from the groins. If you go down to where the swimming pool is, there are a number of hazards actually on the seabed, which are former old groins and fittings. If it caught on that, the boat might hang up on it and actually be stuck on it. So the bags are going to have a safety knife in them. It's a rope cutter, it's safe, so you shouldn't be able to cut yourself on it other than using it in earnest. And it's just used like that, it goes into the eye of the cutter and then you can just cut the rope. And you shouldn't be using the ropes on a boat without a cutter basically. So that will, one of these will sit in the bag there and it will stay permanently attached. So there's nothing much more to it. Once that's done, the rope can all be hoisted into the boat can be brought up here, everyone can have a glass of brandy, recover from their experience, and then it can all get packed away properly in due course.
Because it's going to have to be sluiced out in fresh water, dried and repacked. So if it's ever used, people should get in touch with me because I'll do that. So there's no point in having it packed the wrong way because it won't work properly.